From this resolute drive on the Western Front came 3 battles which would become the symbol of World War I, of the dreadful slaughter, of the operations that went nowhere. The names: Verdun, the Somme, and Passchendaele. The ease with which the Germans had switched armies from front to front, from one flashpoint to another, through their superb strategic rail network, determined the frustrated Allies on an all-out assault in 1916. Concentric, military, naval, and economic pressure to crush the Central Powers once and for all. The linchpin of the strategy was to be a massive attack where the Allied lines met at the Somme. But Germany had her own ideas. An assault on a target, a symbol to the French which they would be compelled to defend to the last. The fortresses of Verdun. At 7 in the morning of the 21st of February 1916, the Germans began the great battle with the most devastating bombardment ever seen in warfare. Yet, 10 months later, Verdun still held. French tenacity and the sacred way, the vital artery along which 3,000 lorries a day fed the beleaguered army, had kept Verdun alive, but at a terrible price. The great cauldron of destruction had claimed 700,000 French and German lives, and all for a few useless fortresses. The crass idiocy continued. With Verdun, the Somme had lost all strategic value as a battleground. Yet, with classic obstinacy, the British determined to go ahead against an enemy well prepared with a system of 40-foot deep dugouts, secure from the heaviest bombardment. It was inconceivable that this line could be forced. Yet, on the 1st of July, after 8 days of fruitless barrage, the British Fourth Army went over the top in perfect order. Wave after wave of infantry left their trenches on the hot July morning, only to be bogged down with their heavy packs in the tangled wire, craters, and potholes of the bombardment. The Germans had ample time to emerge unscathed from their dugouts and commence an obscenely easy slaughter. With the last staccato stutter of machine gun fire, the guns fell silent over the Somme. By late afternoon, the British had suffered 60,000 casualties, a third of them dead, in the worst day of carnage of any army in the war, and the bloodiest day in the history of British arms. It was 3 days before all the wounded could be brought in their agony from the killing field. Yet for a further 6 months, the bloodbath continued, with almost criminal disregard on the part of the generals who refused to back down from their boasts or deviate from their rigid plan. This was warfare by the book, an attempt to control the uncertainties and confusions of war by simply ignoring. By the 13th of November, stubborn vanity on both sides had counted for over 1 million dead and wounded. The bloodied, hapless warriors of the Somme were to witness 2 events which were a symbol that war had changed forever. On the 14th of July, in a sudden early morning attack on the German front, 5 miles of the lines were overrun. Then came the great set piece of which every British general dreamt. The infantry saw a sight unique on the Western Front. 3 divisions of cavalry riding for the gap, bugles blowing, cannons flying, lances glittering. The glorious vision crumbled as the machine guns opened fire. Two months later, the first few British tanks rolled over the barbed wire. Idealism perished on the Somme. The enthusiastic volunteers were no longer enthusiastic. They had lost faith in their cause, in their leaders, and in everything except loyalty to their comrades.